we've reached the point of the race where I ask myself, why is this what I do for fun?
Macedonia's Pelister Unique Trail Marathon. 54 kilometers of rugged trail through forests, scrambling up the high alpine mountains, and through brambles that'll slice your legs like mincemeat. I signed up for this. This is what I do for fun. Now I gotta admit, I was especially anxious about this one when I saw that the forecast was estimating temperatures nearing 40 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It also didn't help that I had just finished researching the dangers of running in the heat for an article. Needless to say, I was starting to spiral in my head just a little bit. But before we get to the race, I think we should take a moment for a hasty, albeit brief and wildly incomplete history of Macedonia. In ancient times, the Balkan country was part of the Kingdom of Macedon, famous for Alexander the Great, who was born in Pella in what is now northern Greece. It came under Roman rule and was later part of the Byzantine and Ottoman empires, whose legacy is particularly obvious in the capital city Skopje's Old Town and the ancient city of Ohrid. In the 20th century, it was part of Yugoslavia until its peaceful independence in 1991. In the 2019 Prespa agreement with Greece, the country officially agreed to go by the name of North Macedonia to assuage Greek complaints that their northern neighbor was trying to claim the Greek historical region of Macedonia as their own. In exchange, this agreement is supposed to eventually help pave North Macedonia's way into the European Union. Unsurprisingly, nobody on the ground actually refers to the country as North Macedonia. The food is Macedonian, the train mishaps are Macedonian, and the people are Macedonian. So at the risk of inadvertently causing an international diplomatic incident, I'll honor how those who spoke with me refer to their country and follow suit. I arrived in the capital of Skopje with my friend Danielle, who'd be running the race with me. We opted for the 3.5-hour train ride down to Bitola where the race would start. Unfortunately, we later learned that this was a bad idea. Not only was the train a sauna on rails, it stopped in the middle of nowhere for about an hour. No explanation or anything. Okay, an hour might not seem like much, but when you're roasting, it's the difference between tender and juicy or an edible crisp. But we made it, and with a full day of rest before the race kicked off. At bib pickup the next day, I met up with the race director Nenad Lazic, a Croatian-born runner himself who's been in Bitola for the better part of a decade. He spent some time living in German-speaking Switzerland as well, which is why we're speaking in Goethe's tongue in Macedonia.
Aus dem Passion zum Traillauf habe ich eine Lauf wie Pelister Unique Trail Marathon auf Beine gestellt und jetzt schon drittes Jahr bin ich so weit, dass ich kann sagen, das ist eine von bessere organisierte und eine sehr, sehr innovative und sehr qualitative Lauf und ich freue mich für jeden Lauf, was zu uns kommt, ob das jetzt von Mazedonien ist oder von irgendwo auf dieser Welt. Wir sind froh, dass wir die Leute, der Läufer können mal zeigen, was wir hier in Mazedonien, vor allem in Bitola, anbieten können.
Nenad added that the race takes place among the former battlefields of World War I, where countless soldiers lost their lives.
Wenn wir auf diesen Trails laufen, können wir uns vorstellen, was müsste ein Soldat alles ertragen. Wir haben sehr viel Respekt vor diesem Berg und sind stolz, dass wir jetzt dürfen auf diesem Berg so einen Sport veranstalten.
I also spoke with Dragan Cicic, a local volunteer who shared what's so special about this race.
I think it's for many, what people tell us, people such as you who come here usually for the first time, they experience Macedonia in the fullest. It's usually Macedonia, it's usually out of the way. People don't often come here for business or anything, or even vacation, but they happen to visit Macedonia like this, through these races. So it's first of all the country, I would say, and the mountains. We have these lovely mountains. The Pelister Mountain is one of the first national park in ex-Yugoslavia, I like to say. It's beautiful mountain, unique, and then the people, and then the food.
Race morning. It's a small crowd with only about 23 runners lining up for the ultra distance. Another 8 runners had signed up but didn't start. Leading me to wonder, what do they know that I didn't?
Well, hey there, sports fans. Checking in, 8 kilometers in, and a nice runnable section before the really steep climbing begins. So far, so good. The heat's not bothering me as much as I thought it would. That said, we are in a very lovely forested section, and I'm pretty sure a lot of that climbing is going to be exposed, especially up the Baba Mountain. But we'll only find out if I keep my ass moving. Okay, I'm coming up to the big climb, first of 2, and based on that turn, I'd say we're there, and going up means hiking. Yeah, I heard you. Just past 21 kilometers, so 30 plus ish to go. Feeling okay. I mean, this climb being in the forest has been a lifesaver because my heart rate's getting up there, and I can only imagine what it would be in the sun. So I'm basically 27 kilometers in, halfway through the course. Feeling pretty good. I'm loving the course so far. A lot of this kind of flowing single track early on, so it's runnable. A lot of pretty steady climbing. There's been some rocky bits that have been hard to figure out which way to go to stay on the trail. But all in all, I'm really taking it. Well, folks, I believe we've reached the hike up to Baba Mountain. My watch says over 6 kilometers. I'll be climbing 1,000 meters, more or less, with an average percent grade of 16. Now, if you can't visualize what 16% grade is, and it's hard to tell on the camera, just know that it's a f***ing line. And then we've reached the point of the race where I ask myself, why is this what I do for fun? I mean, I think I know, but at the same time, I have a f***ing idea. Why is this the thing I do on a Saturday? A nice summer Saturday. If you too are a trail runner who does these things for fun and pays to do them, let me know in the comments why you do them, so I can remind myself why the f*** I'm here and doing this to myself. I'm just kidding, I love it.
At a certain point, I put on my Epic Jams playlist to help energize me and distract from the swarms of bugs flying around my head. I tell you, this stuff really gets my juices flowing, which is why I started grinning like a maniac. Unfortunately, I got so jacked up on Hans Zimmer that I missed my turn. But it wasn't long before I got back on track and continued the schlep up Baba Mountain.
Taking a little break up here at 35 kilometers, maybe about a little more than halfway up Mount Baba. Guessing it's back there. What else can I say that can justify extending this break? Because holy hell, this is a climb. Whew, and I got these f***ing flies and bees just constantly buzzing around me. I don't usually do the headphone thing, but it's the only way I could stop hearing the buzzing. Now I just feel it and see it. That aside, this does not suck. Well done, Macedonia. Well done. folks, we've reached the low point. I'm on my last climb, a little bit of a bump in the trail, on the route, but did I really struggled to get up Baba Mountain. Whenever I exert myself, I feel like my heart is racing, even though my heart rate isn't really that high. But I'm just here to finish, so I'm taking my time. Again, I chose to do this. What's wrong with me?
But after a little descent into my last checkpoint at the aptly named Big Lake, 42 kilometers in, my body went full Wilt the Stilt and started to rebound.
Just past my last checkpoint, about 10 kilometers to go, almost all downhill, and I feel better. I don't know what it was about the climbing up there. I don't know if there's altitude at play, if that was a thing, or what happened, but feeling much better, and like I can run this in once we get a little bit more of a decline.
At least that was the plan, and it worked for a little bit, but of course, the trail had other ideas.
Well, this is a first. It says I'm on the route. I can see trail ahead, so, and at this point, I've got like 5 to go. So this is a hell of a way to end a pretty grueling race. Just annihilate your legs. Death by 1,000 cuts style. Ready for this to be over. Got my ultra. My legs are on fire. I hope you enjoy this.
After trudging through some of the wildest trail I've ever run, I finally stumbled onto some runnable trail for my final 3 kilometers.
Well, folks, 1 kilometer to go. Just rolling on in here on this asphalt after spending about 10 hours making an ass of myself.
And just when I thought the climbing was finally over, the finish line popped up on the top of a godforsaken hill.
Well, this is rude. I just turned up to go to the finish. You can see it over there, and it's on an incline.
Perhaps not as triumphant as I would have liked, but I crossed the finish line nonetheless in a whopping 10 hours, 40 minutes, and 46 seconds. That's more than double the time of my first 50K Ultra back in October, which tells you all you need to know about this ruthless episode of Legends of the Hidden Temple with special executive producer, Satan. Congrats if you got that reference. We're the same age! With the race behind us, we took the bus over to Ohrid, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its crystal clear lake and some old church stuff I couldn't be bothered to learn about. Give me a break, people, I was tired. Then it was back up to Skopje, where I was able to shake out my legs and meet up with Vojislav, a local tour guide who shared with us some of his favorite Macedonian eats.
The Macedonian cuisine, man, it's a mix, it's a mix, and it's a colorfulness of, meeting of many cultures, of many styles, and it's very, very tasty one. Me personally, I eat a lot of meat. I love it, but we're also kind of bready nation. We eat a lot of bread. We don't mind being a little chubbier than the typical European guy or girl. It's not about the houses and the stores. Meeting a local town, locals. It's the way how you meet the culture.
After the race, I said that there's no way I would have done it had I seen, frankly, a video like this beforehand. The combination of brambles slicing my legs like deli meat and bugs buzzing around my head like it were the Queen's hive would have gotten a big fat pass from me. But with the race behind me, I couldn't be more thrilled that I did it. Now I have an even better idea of what my body is truly capable of doing. And for that, I couldn't be more grateful to Pelister and to the land that put me through a mental and physical test unlike anything I ever experienced before.